Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the NILG.AI Podcast. Today we have with us Janto Moerman, who is one of the founders of the conference on digital assets that will happen here in Porto in May. Thank you, Janto, for being part of our podcast.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So what can we expect from CODA this year?
CODA, the Conference on Digital Assets, is a conference that focuses on the business side and the practical applications of blockchain, of Web3, and AI. There are many conferences on these topics, but they mainly focus on the technical aspects. And what we try to do is educate our audience, C-level executives and entrepreneurs, on what you can actually do with this technology. And that's what we try to bring to stage with interesting speakers and panel discussions, and so people can learn from that and stay ahead of the competition.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, we have a partnership with CODA, and CODA is offering 50% off on the 2-day tickets for our listeners. You can use the
Yeah,
code NILX-CODA. It will be on the description, as well as CODA has a partnership with Sleep.io, where they will provide a discount on hotel rooms provided through their links for the conference here in Porto next month in May. So a game that I typically do is trying to explain AI to a business person, somebody that never touched a programming language, let's say,
yeah.
somebody that knows zero about coding. So, how would you explain blockchain to a business person?
I would explain it that blockchain basically is a ledger, a database where you can store data and you can automate how that data is processed. And the blockchain makes the database transparent and decentralized, so safe as well. And those are the benefits in using that.
Okay, so just I will play the role that I know nothing about this technology. So, decentralized, being safe means that you don't need to worry about your servers being compromised or an earthquake destroying your infrastructure and then losing all of it, right?
It makes the database secure in a way that if the data is changed, that you will know.
Okay.
So that will make it safe.
Okay.
So you can rely on the information.
And why will I want as a business owner to have transparency on my data?
The transparency can be within your organization if it's a private blockchain. The transparency can be between your organization and, for instance, your supplier or your customer, or the data can be also transparent for everybody to see, which makes your organization more trustworthy.
Nice. So you can leverage this transparency to bring trust with external partners. For example, let's say that you have a referral program and you want your external partners to know who bought, who
Yeah.
didn't vote, so that can create a sense of trust. You can do it with your customers as well, so they know how their data is flowing. I don't know what data you are storing about them, etc.
Yeah, for sure. For example, if you are a coffee company and you are buying biological coffee for a fair trade price, then you can give that information to your customer, the one who's buying a cup of coffee with you. But if you only want to show that it's fair trade, or if it's biological coffee, but you don't want your competitors to know what you paid, you can choose what information you want to show and what not.
Okay. And what about private blockchains? So it's like it's transparent and decentralized, but within the organization, it's like that.
Yes, exactly. And then between different departments, you can share information and store information and make that available to people within the organization. Or if you choose it to make it not a private chain, you can do that also outside of the organization.
Amazing. What about? So I think most blockchains, if not all, I think it's only most of them are immutable, right? Like whatever is written there, it's there forever. So uh,
Correct. Yeah. Well, you can mutate data, but it will show up on the
Okay.
blockchain. So you can follow back in time when and where the data and by whom the data
Okay.
is changed. So you can basically trust the information because you can check it.
Okay. So, what application could be relevant for a business owner? Will be about governance of his processes. Like they know what happens in the process, and nobody can go there and erase an error, so he can track whatever what's written there and whatever happened. Right.
Yeah, one of the most widely used applications is in finance, because of finance, people want to know, one, if my money is still there, but two, if the money that I have, if it's trustworthy, if it's not from
Okay.
criminal activities or from a scam or something else. So that gives a huge advantage of making that data well, transparent. Where does it come from? And reliable.
Okay. Does it create any challenge with the right to be forgotten by GDPR?
Yes and no. It is a challenge, but there are beautiful solutions for that because you can make the blockchain private, and there are many different types of blockchain. One blockchain that is very open, other blockchains that focus on privacy,
Okay.
where you can choose which information is publicly available and which is not. I mean, if you go to, if you have a bank account, you can share your bank account number with someone else so that they can pay you, but you don't want them to automatically know how much is in your bank account because, well, that's none of their
Yeah.
business. And that is the same that you can do
Okay.
with the programmable blockchain.
Okay. One question here. So, AI and blockchain, as any novel technology, has these,
Hmm.
let's say, seasonalities on hypes and winters and summer and springs and winters that
Yeah.
they they capture attention. Then we maybe overpromise on what the technology can deliver, or maybe we get too
Hmm.
excited. Let's say not overpromise, and then there is a massive drop on the attention of the public attention on that technology. Blockchain
Yes.
has passed through these winters. Maybe not blockchain itself, but let's say cryptocurrencies have passed through these winters. I'm not sure if blockchain has blockchain.
Blockchains as well.
Yeah.
I think a cryptocurrency or a crypto token shows how much a blockchain is used. So
Okay.
how much demand there is for the use of a blockchain, and the token, if that is blockchain or Ethereum or one of the lesser known tokens, is simply an ownership token of that blockchain, and how much it's used and how much demand there is for it. And they go through the same cycles as the cryptocurrencies that
Okay.
we
So
most people
they
know.
they follow Twitter. So and would you say now we are in a crypto winter or on a summer spring?
Ooh, it's difficult to say. I think we are on. Ooh, not a financial advice. I think that the blockchain use and
Exactly. Yeah.
adoption will still grow. What that does for cryptocurrency,
Exactly. But
I
blockchain are still growing, right? Regardless of the lack of attention of
yes,
cryptocurrency, because now like the hype moved from cryptos into AI.
yeah,
What I'm asking about, blockchain cycles versus crypto is like, although now there is no so much attention on blockchain crypto versus I do see the adoption of blockchain steadily increasing regardless
yeah.
of the crypto winters. Maybe there is not so much investment, but I don't see people like massively dropping the usage of blockchains on today's crypto.
I agree. Once organizations start using blockchain, I think they move from centralized database solutions to decentralized options. When they start using blockchain, they will continue to use blockchain. Maybe what is going up and down is how many new people start using blockchain.
Okay,
But once
exactly.
businesses get in, they'll see the
All right.
advantages and see where it's going. Yeah.
Any insight you have for the AI community on how to deal with a winter or yeah,
I would focus on what actual value does a blockchain bring, and not necessarily trying to buy a token at 100 and hoping to
exactly.
sell it for 200 later on. The very speculative side of blockchain, of cryptocurrencies, also NFTs, meme coins, etc. But what is the actual value? What is the actual benefit of using blockchain?
Yeah.
And there are many. And maybe the growth or the value increase will go slower in a winter than in bull run. But if you start working with a blockchain where you actually see value, then you'll always come out on top.
Yeah. Yeah. Regarding adoption, something I have seen in the blockchain community and also in the AI community before this last Gen AI hype
Hmm.
was that it was not very accessible for the regular daily, regular citizen that is not in the technology.
Yeah.
And before this last AI hype, I saw our communities like being proud that was like a technical niche thing that only the
Yeah.
geek people could understand, and we were kind
Yeah.
of proud of it. But that actually slows down adoption. Uh,
It does. Yeah, I think so too.
yeah, and maybe the only reason why I think AI was truly democratized in this last wave was because it reached a point where of interfacing with people that
Yeah.
that anybody can understand, which is a chat. So anybody knows how to speak more or less, right?
Yeah.
So once it reached this point where you don't have any gap, any technological gap between
Hmm.
regular citizens and the technology, then the
Yeah.
discourse changes, and then most people are willing to embrace the technology.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how we will remove this gap on blockchain, being it as such a technical concept, such as a database. You know?
Well, it's the same. I think it's the same cycle that we went through when internet
Okay.
started in end of the 90s. You don't necessarily need to know how the internet works. You just need to type in a URL and go to a website and know how to and know which buttons to push for the outcome that you need. And the whole technical background of HTML and TCP/IP,
Yeah.
etc., etc. That's not very interesting for most consumers. But it doesn't mean that internet is widely used nowadays. And I think the same goes for blockchain, and that's why many people talk about the killer app that has to be launched that people understand and start using. And once they start using it, they'll maybe think of, wait, what kind of technology is this actually, and what is behind it, and start thinking about that a little bit more. But in the end, it has to be useful, and it has to create value, and it should be simple to use.
Yeah. Perfect. What about challenges on blockchain nowadays that you see AI could help solving?
I think AI can help automate many processes on a technical side, for instance, writing code in making blockchain work better, faster, easier. And on the other hand, to automate practical tasks that people use in day-to-day life, when they use email, when they use spreadsheets, when they use internet, when they use social media, find information. I think that AI agents can automate things. And when AI agents operate on a blockchain, they can be transparent about that, where that information comes from, what the origin of data is, and if it's safe to use.
Okay, I like that concept. So if you have an AI agent that is operating in the blockchain, you will say it's an AI agent you can trust more than an AI agent that is fully a black box and you don't know where it's taking the information from and how is it interacting with the rest.
Yeah, at a certain point, it is going to be a black box where people don't know anymore where the
Yeah,
information actually is coming from, especially when we have scenarios where AI is becoming a super intelligence, where we completely don't know what is going on in that black box. But for now, I think that there is still the possibility for organizations to track where AI is getting its information from, and if that information is safe, and if the information is true, and if
yeah,
it does what we expect of it.
yeah. There is a nice use case I would like to see in the future, and I think where I think blockchain could truly help, which is nowadays there is all of this debate around copyright and
Hmm.
whether or not AI models could use or not copyrighted data to train their models. I do see blockchain being a possible way to circumvent that, where, for example, copyright is established on the blockchain. Like, here's my publication, here's my book, here is whatever, you know.
Yeah,
Uh, and whenever an AI needs to use that data to train, you have a transaction, you have a record that says, this AI model used this data to train. So somehow
yeah,
you establish a compensation or an incentive mechanism for the AI model to trust this data point as training, and the owner of that data point is also compensated in the end.
yeah.
But
I think so too. Yeah.
yeah, so
Um, Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, for me it's like when I try to see like what potential problems we see nowadays on AI that could accelerate the adoption of AI or could prevent massive regulations. That's like for me the point where I see a clear roadmap for a fully successful integration model between AI and blockchain. The other one that I will say is around transparency and reliability of agents. For example, if I have, I don't know, dozens of agents which are, I don't know, financial advisors, for example, AI agents
Yeah.
that are financial advisors. Blockchain itself has already like uh, mechanisms for knowing, for building trust, for how it already has reward systems, or multiple blockchains have reward systems where you can trust one financial advisor more than the other, and
Yeah.
where you write down your trust on those systems, which in this case will be the predictions of the AI. So basically, the AI agent will write the predictions on the blockchain. Then,
Hmm.
if you trust these agent predictions, you will basically incentivize somehow or add credits, let's say, to that agent, just to try to put it on simple terms, uh,
Yeah.
such that you are incentivizing both sides. You are incentivizing data production. So whenever an AI model consumes data that is copyrighted or that was produced by somehow,
Yeah.
you can track how that data arrived to the model and who should be rewarded by that data. But at the same time, you can reward the AI models that produce the best predictions, as long as those predictions are traceable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a huge component of the reliability and the value of an AI agent. I think it starts also from who manages the AI agent, or maybe who started the AI agent. I mean, if you're looking for financial advice and your neighbor has an AI agent, well, that's nice. He might actually have some results that he can show. But if that AI agent that gives financial advice is managed by JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs,
Yeah.
that's a much bigger, well known, and maybe trustworthy name in the financial world. Um, so it's maybe better to trust that, because hopefully they will have a team or some management to manage that AI agent,
Yeah.
where they programmed it, where they fed it with maybe better or more reliable information. So I do think it starts where the AI agent originates from and where it's managed.
Yeah.
And I think that blockchain can show and prove that the AI agent is actually operating on I don't know, a JP Morgan network, and not on your neighbor's network.
Perfect. Have you seen any successful in like application that combines both technologies, AI and blockchain?
Well, I think we're working. Google is doing a lot of work where they integrate not only their own products for their own gain, but they're also integrating it with a wallet where you can integrate and blockchain and automation. Yeah, where you can combine the two. And I'm very curious where that will go, especially when it evolves around investing or maybe online shopping, etc., etc.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, I think nowadays with agents, especially because I mean, when you have fully operating AI agents, I believe people will care a lot about traceability of their footprint, like what this guy was doing, what transactions he did. Let's say that you fully
Yeah,
automate a manual task like booking a flight or whatever. You want to know exactly which transactions the agent did, so you can, if you are going to be liable for those transactions, like I asked my agent to book a trip, I
yeah,
to make sure like all the steps it did to arrive to that point. Um, so I do see blockchain as the most decentralized, transparent way of people building trust on the agents they will use on a day-to-day basis. That's my
yeah.
that's my take. Yeah,
Yeah, I think so. Because if you're booking a flight, you don't want to end up in I don't know, Siberia, if you were planning a summer holiday, because you do want to know that it's an AI agent that handles the right data. And once you have booked a ticket to, I don't know, South Africa, and you really want to go there, you also want to know that the airline where you bought the ticket or where your agent bought the ticket is actually going to
yeah,
provide you entrance to the aircraft.
exactly. And the
Yeah.
same way for the other side. So if the airline is selling a ticket to an AI agent, it wants to know
Yeah,
if that request from that AI agent is reliable, what is the real source of that request, etc. So if it is not a direct transaction, human to airline, but human to agent to airline, we need to be
yeah,
able to track all this change if we want to build
yeah. You're
reliability.
right. Yeah. I hadn't
Yeah,
thought of that way, but
yeah,
the airline wants to know. I mean, they get paid for the ticket, so
yeah.
that part is
It's okay.
closed. But they do want to know
Who is?
that Kelvin is getting on that airplane, and not
Yeah,
Osama bin Laden that is
exactly,
using your name. So
exactly. Yeah,
yeah, and blockchain will provide your
yeah,
secure personal data
yeah,
that is only shared with the airline and not with the rest of the world,
exactly.
uh, and that will
Yeah,
make
and
it easier to operate all these systems.
And now we are talking about airlines, but we can go the same for drugstores. If you have a prescription and you have an AI agent that automates
Yeah,
the purchase of those prescriptions, then you have safety on knowing who is actually transacting there. Same thing for
exactly.
e-commerce, for example. Who otherwise you will have a like a open drug market everywhere if AI agents are buying
Of
stuff,
course.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what we hope to do at CODA is to give an example on stage of an airline where someone of a pharmaceutical company can think, well, hey, this problem of knowing which person really is that person, well, we can use that in our pharmacy as
yeah,
well. And then we hope to inspire people and to adopt this technology, be it with AI or a more simpler version with just a blockchain,
exactly.
that it will get being adopted. And the person getting on the airplane or the person going to the pharmacy really doesn't care how the technology works,
Yeah,
but it probably will be easier. It will be cheaper. It might be faster.
yeah,
So those are the benefits.
yeah, and more reliable in the end. So I guess if it
I
is
hope so.
automatable,
Yeah,
it's more
for
reliable.
sure. Yeah.
What excites you the most about the future of digital assets, blockchain, and AI?
As a consultant, I like the fact that it's still unknown. and that the innovation can go in so many different directions, and that the possibilities are, well, they're almost endless, and we have no idea where this will end and how fast it will go. So I think the excitement is the
Yeah.
excitement.
The
It's
unknown,
unknown,
yeah, the unknown is
and
the excitement.
I like that
Yeah,
the innovativeness of the whole industry,
yeah,
and I also like the spirit that many people really make an effort to make the world a better place, and that, yeah, that spirit is still there.
yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
I like. Any contrarian thought you have around blockchains and AI? Like the most
Mm.
controversial thing you think?
Well, you do see that a lot of the big tech organizations are trying to, they kind of lose ground because things are getting more decentralized and more transparent, and they try to hold on to their market share, and they find ways to box off everything again, and try to keep that market space. But I hope that it will still be decentralized and transparent, and not that the big tech companies get bigger and wealthier, but that it will actually help solve problems for regular people like you and me.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
like it. By the way,
And yeah, we'll see where it goes. Um, in order for adoption and for people to have a product that is easy to use, and we need big tech organizations, or maybe new tech organizations, to make a good product. But I hope the balance will still be around in a couple of years. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I think so. And I think like the largest disruptions on AI and blockchain won't come from big tech because they are basically doing minor optimizations of their business models with this technology, but from new
Yeah.
incumbents that basically rethink the business model from a decentralized perspective or from an AI native perspective, where the whole business model is built on the assumption that we have this technology. And as long as we find good niches, good verticals where these new business models have a true fit, I
Yeah.
think those will be the areas where we see a highest disruption. Yeah,
Yeah, I think there are many founders and startups that are doing fantastic work. But the risk is, once it's they have a minimum viable product, or they have some use that is showing up, that I don't know, Google or Facebook comes along and buys them for
yeah,
$1 billion. And all of a sudden, that little startup isn't so little anymore, and it
yeah,
gets incorporated into this
yeah,
big organization. I mean, it happened with Instagram. It happened with a
yeah,
gazillion examples,
yeah,
and it is happening with AI startups. And
yeah. But I
yeah,
think the market is defined in that way, VC, etc. Like
yeah,
that's the way it's working. As I think,
yeah,
as long as transparency reaches the masses, I will be
yeah.
happy with the outcome.
I
Nevertheless,
Same here. Same here. It's we're in the race. We're in
yeah,
the journey, and the outcome is not yet set.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
we both try to steer it a bit in the right direction, and
yeah.
that's the best we can do.
Yeah, that's right. So just to wrap up, guys, remember we have the conference on digital assets. It will be on May 8, 7 and 8.
And yeah,
Okay.
Wednesday and Thursday.
Wednesday and Thursday here in Porto, right? It will be at Porto Business School.
Yes, correct.
Perfect. Remember, there is a CODA is offering a 50% off on two tickets, on the tickets for our listeners. Um, the code is NILG.AI CODA. You will have the link on the description, as well as
Yeah,
the partnership with the Sleep.io for discounts on the hotel rooms booked through their link.
yeah. If you're from outside Porto and want to stay a night, then we offer a sensible solution for that as well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, looking forward to see you now in May, Janto, and
Yeah.
to see you all.
Likewise. And
Thank
thanks
you.
very much for having me. And
Thank you.
yeah, we'll see each other in 30 days.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. In 30 days. Yeah, perfect. Amazing. So thank you guys for watching. Remember, we will see you in CODA now in main Porto, and all the information will be on the description. So see you on the next episode. See you soon.
Yeah,
Bye bye.
hope to see you guys there. Cheers.